it meant something.
Sacramento.
It's the Legion coin, the Legion emblem.
About a month ago, we went up and they said they added 2 more days.
For a couple of days, no?
That's a super house drill.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then next week I'll be gone for 7
I'll make one of this next year for sure. Then, of course, I'll be open.
Yeah, I'm going to go back for the 10th. I went back for the first 5, and it just became...
He has suffered more physically and emotionally than most of us will never ever begin to imagine. He was there moments after the towers fell, and he worked non-stop trying desperately to find someone to save. Unfortunately, all he found was a lot of just pieces of people. He's the most dedicated guy I know as far as a first responder and his dedication into what he went through with 9/11. It's proud. We are very proud as the Lafayette Flag Brigade to introduce New York firefighter Sean Hickey.
This isn't a speech as much as I just wrote down my memories from that day. It's about 7 pages. I may have to delete some of it because it's graphic, but just let me talk it out. On the morning of September 11, 2001, I woke up. It was my first day off vacation. I walked out my front door. I stretched to take in the beautiful warm sunshine. I said to myself, what a beautiful day. Words I will always regret. My phone rang at 8:47, and it was my brother, who was also a New York City firefighter, and he's in a hospital right now as we speak, hooked up to IVs, sick. All right? For over 30 years, he was a firefighter. I said to him, what's up? And he said, turn on the TV. We're being attacked. Words I never wanted to hear. We had already been training for 5 years for this day. While watching, I saw Flight 175 ran into the South Tower. Moments later, my best friend, with his wife and kids, were in my house. With my wife and my son, I told my brother I loved him and I will see him down there, and I hung up. I turned to my friend and I said, take the boat. 28-foot cabin cruiser. It's fully loaded with gas, and I have cash hidden in the boat. I'm sorry, give me 1 second. And then he needed to get them on the boat and head out to Long Island Sound. The roads were going to be jammed. Because the roads would be jammed, in case there was a biological agent on the plane, we all hugged, kissed, and said goodbye. I immediately reported to my firehouse, and those of us who were off duty were told to report to Shea Stadium. When I got there, they put me and 9 others on the first bus, and with a police escort, got us to ground zero in less than 15 minutes. En route, both towers had just collapsed, and people were running by us, heading uptown. I had expected to see many of my friends, expecting to pull survivors from the rubble. There were none. Everybody was dead. And we had no command station. We were totally on our own. Never did I expect to walk into something that was nothing more than death and destruction. Dead firefighters everywhere, with one female about 30 years old, squashed. On further examination, we were finding, I gotta skip this part. Okay, you don't want to hear that. At that point, I got on my knees and I said 2 prayers. I said one for those who had died, and a second prayer for all the innocent people who are going to die as a result of this attack. That was my morning, how it started. When we got off the bus, my first order was to find a command center. That was Chief Feehan, Chief Gansey, Father Judge, everybody. Okay, find a command center, sorry. We found them, and we waited for flags to wrap them and remove them. They were under thousands of pounds of steel beams. It is now somewhere around 11:30, and fresh guys were coming in, and we were ordered to seek medical attention because of the toxic cloud material we were breathing in. I remember 3 doctors, 5 nurses working around the clock. We saw them several more times before we were ordered out to allow Building 7 to collapse. The mental toll it was taking on us was overwhelming. Too much blood. It was in our shoes. It was all somehow got inside of all my bunker gear. There is so much more I can say about the rescue effort, but I don't. There's a lot of things I don't want you to know. I want to end the rescue mission with one thing. The Army brought in cadaver dogs. We escorted them in through underground garages. When the dogs reached the pile, they all sat down. I was confused, and I asked the soldier, when are they going to go to work? And he told me they were done. Done, I said. They haven't done anything yet. He said they sit when they find DNA. It was over. It was everywhere. DNA covered every square inch of the collapsed towers. 9 years later, Ground Zero is still a hole in the ground. People fighting over what and when to rebuild. The worst part of it is, while they fight over it, 805 first responders have died of various cancers, and the government is slow, and they're dragging their feet about it. I have several friends who have committed suicide. The James Dragotta bill, H.R. 847, came up for a vote last month and failed because it was loaded with pork. The Dragotta bill is meant to help first responders who are sick and dying. Washington needs to stop playing games with our lives, because in the event of another attack, who will go in to find your lost sons, your lost daughters, your mothers and your fathers? If they have to worry that they can get sick and their country can turn their back on them, nobody's going to want to do this job. I want to end with one thing that my daughter sent to me this morning. I'm sure she didn't write it, although she's smart enough to have. A great people has been moved to defend a great nation. Terrorist attacks can shake the foundation of our biggest buildings, but they cannot touch the foundation of America. These acts shattered steel, but they cannot dent the steel of American resolve. America was targeted for attack because we're the brightest beacon for freedom and opportunity in the world, and no one will keep that light from shining. Thank you.
Tell me what you think of Sean Hickey and what you guys talked about briefly.
Well, I'll tell you what I felt. I felt a lot of pain from Sean still after 9 years, and I tried to let him know that it was all right, that he should share the pain and let us take some of it from him, because he shouldn't keep all that pain in himself. He said he was ashamed to be a fireman. There's no reason for him to be ashamed. He should be proud.